Hi, Danny.
Hello, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. I can see you.
Nice.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. We've had two amazing talks already.
Oh, all right.
So
No,
you
no
have
pressure.
no pressure. Exactly. But no, we're really excited because your talk's a little bit different, which is great. You're going to be giving
Okay.
some advice on, how to future-proof your career in the age
Yeah,
of AI.
yeah.
Um,
I don't sound like cracking or anything. I sound clear, do I?
yes, you're fine. You're
Good.
fine.
Good. Okay.
Um,
Excellent.
but I mean, Danny, we've known each other for a while. You have been in the early career space for a while. I don't want to, reveal your
Yeah.
age, but you've got
And I've
you
got grey hairs. It has
and you've
been a
got
while.
grey hairs, exactly.
Yeah,
So
it's been a while.
it's been a while. But what I really wanted you and why, we love to have you as speakers today because I feel like you have really honest advice, and I feel like that's what everyone is looking for.
I am. Sometimes I'm too honest, but I think I think it's important in this space because people make life decisions based on what they hear and insights they are given. So I think it's very important to be honest and to let people know kind of what's happening in the world in this space. So I feel it's a
Exactly.
duty.
Exactly. Okay, well, why don't we start off and, talk a little bit about who you are. But I think the main thing is let's get into it and tell us what are some of the changes that you've seen as well in that job market? Like where are we today? What does it look like? Because everyone's saying
Okay.
there's no jobs.
Yeah. So hi everyone. I'm Danny. Danny Sardu. I currently work for a company called Wireless Logic. I'm the global head of talent management. I have been in kind of the HR space for just nearly 20 years. Well, just over 20 years. My background has been learning and development. I've done OD, I've done talent management. I've moved more into kind of the culture space recently. So like looking at, doing diversity, inclusion, and early careers is something that I've always kind of been involved in. And that's specifically bringing in young people into the workforce and giving them a platform to thrive and to be successful. Um, and right now, I would say it is a very tough market, specifically in the UK. Compared to pre-COVID, um, jobs specifically for kind of graduates and early careers in this space, it's gone down by like 30%. So it's a really tough market. And standing out and also making sure that you capitalize on who you know in your network is very important right now, not just what you know. So
Mm.
if you don't have a strong network or you don't have connections to people within organizations, it can be very hard to even get your foot in the door. So one of the things that's very important is making sure that you proactively form relationships and make sure that any opportunity you have when you meet somebody who says, oh, keep in touch, um, or reach out to me, I can help you, make sure you do more so than ever, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, I would say also that for me, in the job market, there's a real shift between what early careers young people want versus what employers want. And I think that disconnect is causing it to become more challenging for young people to get into the workforce. Yeah.
Hmm.
So from my experience, the younger people in, early careers are looking for purpose. They're looking for meaning in their job. I think my generation was very much, listen, I just need a job, 9 to 5, put food on the table, look after my family or kind of do what I need to do. But younger people are so much more focused on doing a job that has purpose and meaning and the company actually doing more than just kind of, delivering its services. Younger people want to progress quicker than they've ever progressed before. There tends to be less patience. They want to come in and like, listen, you tell me what I need to know and I will do what I need to do so I can move quickly, right? And I think that's come from the age of social media and being able to get things really quickly from a technology perspective. You can just go on your phone and see what's happening in the world really quickly. And the way we process information, I think, has changed that expectation. Um, Younger people want flexibility and adaptability. They get bored. They don't want to be doing the same thing the whole time. Um, and I also find that when I kind of came into the workforce, you kind of stayed in a career and you kind of became a this, you then became a manager, then you became that, and you kind of just went up linearly. Um, Young people are a lot more kind of fluid and it's not just so straight line. They like to move and do different things, and actually I think it's a really good thing. Um, and the other thing that's really important to them is psychological safety. They are, yeah, I find younger people and people specifically in early careers are more confident to speak their mind and to call out BS when they see it. We had so much more respect for hierarchy. These guys will call it out and tell you, which is actually really refreshing. So that psychological safety, allowing young people to actually speak their mind, you get the most out of them and they're engaged. I would say what employers are looking for is for people who can come in and learn fast, because the world is changing in the corporate world. You know, AI is taking over, which we're going to talk about, machine learning, all these new technologies and platforms are coming out, and they want people to come in who can learn this stuff really quickly and then implement it into the workplace. Um, they want people who can adapt, and also they want people, which is very important, they want people who can work across different cultures, right? So um, most organizations now, because of technology, you know, hybrid working, it is so easy to connect with people in, you know, I was on a call literally this morning where there was somebody from China, there was somebody from Singapore, there was somebody from Americas, and it was just a global call, right? Okay. Um, you know, the person in America was actually up really early, but what I mean is that's the world we are in now. You need to be able to operate outside of your country and your culture, and I would say 70 to 80% of jobs nowadays, you have to be able to interact with people from different countries. So that intercultural, I call it intercultural competence, is really key. Um, and I would say the other thing I would say is that companies are starting to look at more so than ever before. They not, I wouldn't say historically, but now they're starting to look over. I would say they're looking more at skills more than degrees. So I think
Mhm.
historically it used to be, what university did you go to, what degree did you do? It's more about now, how do you, so going to university is important and it's key, but it's how do you, oh, so the
Oh,
sound is off and freeze, some freezing.
I don't know if, yeah, I don't know if you can, you've turned a little bit more roboty, but
Have I? Is that me?
I think it's like the vibration, but like it sounds a little bit better.
Is it my headphone? Yeah, sorry, I
No,
have to use
that's
a
better.
headphone.
That's better. I
Is that
actually
better?
think it was maybe too close to your mouth that it was vibrating. So let's try
Sorry.
it.
Okay, is that better now?
Yeah, can everyone hear? Is that better?
I hope so. Hopefully.
We'll see. We'll
Hopefully.
see. I can
I,
hear you.
okay. The other thing that's really important is, or I would say I've seen from employers, is there's a lot more focus now on skills, not necessarily degrees and what university you went to. So when I, you know, when I was dealing with early careers in my, you know, earlier in my career, it was more about, okay, what university did you go to, what degree does it match your kind of career aspirations? Now that doesn't matter. You can do any degree and go into any career. It's more about the skills and the competency and the capability and the potential you have. Um, I would also say that digital fluency, you know, is the word I use, is so key right now. So you need to be really comfortable with technology, with tech, with platforms, with doing things digitally more so than ever.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, those would be what I would say I'm seeing currently within the job market right now. I would also say that uh, people have a perception that AI is replacing people. It's not. It's replacing tasks that people do, and therefore, um, if you focus too much on, I can do these tasks, I can do these things, you will struggle. You need to understand and master AI and the skills that employers are looking for, so that actually you are seen as somebody who can add to the organization, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But I can talk more about that as we go through.
No, that's so great. Thank you. Because I feel like, again, love that honesty, because it is tough. Like, we're not going to sugarcoat it and say that there are
Mm-hmm.
loads of jobs. And, that's just not fact. But I think what you highlighted, and I agree from what I'm hearing and seeing, is that before it was quite a linear thing. You go to
Yeah.
school, you go to university, get a degree, and like you said, you get a job at the end. That is not how today is working anymore. I think that sounds quite, doesn't sound great for younger people, but I actually think there is an advantage here where a lot of you on this call today can be creating your own skills and experience yourself without actually having to get a job in the first place. There's so much you can do at home for free in your bedroom on social
100%.
media, creating your own podcast, creating your own videos, editing your own videos, whatever it is. And I think the generation before didn't have that because they had to work for a
Yeah.
company in order to have access to those resources.
And actually, one of the things that AI is doing, it's allowing you to learn skills quicker and to get information quicker. Yeah. So there's a massive benefit of AI. So you can go in and ask AI, ChatGPT, whatever platform you use, oh, can you teach me this skill, or how do I do this, or what does that look? And it will map it out and break it down for you. Whereas if you go onto the internet, you have to go and find loads of different resources and Google searches. Whereas actually AI pulls all that information and kind of maps it out for you. So yeah, I would say AI isn't replacing humans. It's replacing boring tasks. It's replacing tasks. Yeah. So people who learn how to use AI to their benefit stand out. Yeah. I actually would recommend that when you are looking to go for jobs, that you proactively tell employers how you use AI and how you've used it to better yourself, how you've used it to learn, and how you've used it to stand out and to enhance your hobbies, and how you used it maybe at university to deliver your projects, because that's what they want to hear. Okay. Employers are onboarding and using more AI than ever. And if they can bring younger people in who know how to use it and utilize it, that is what they're looking for. Um, do you mind if I go? For me, I would say there are probably four areas that you want to think about when it comes to roles. So I would say there are four areas where the if you are thinking when you're thinking about getting into the workplace, you want to think about these roles. I think regardless of how AI progresses, I think you'll be okay. Or I think it will support what you're doing, or AI will support your kind of career. So for me, I would say um, anything that's tech enabled. So if you can actually get into AI itself. So if you can learn how to program AI and to enhance it and to adapt it. So if you can learn how to machine learning skills, you are absolutely onto a winner. The salaries they are paying people, AI engineers, is on another level, and I'm talking stupid money,
And
right?
that's not going to stop. Like AI
That's
is
not
not
gonna,
going to
it's
replace
not
that.
going to stop.
Mhm.
So if you can learn how to program an AI and code it, you're onto a winner, right? The other thing as well are things like cybersecurity, cloud network, software development is not going anywhere, and AI is being used to enhance that and to make that easier. If you learn how to use AI to do those things, you're onto a winner. So that's not going anywhere. So that's, I would say, is definitely a foolproof sector. The other thing I would say is human-centric sectors, is what I call it, right? So healthcare, yes, AI will support healthcare, but you are never going to have AI replacing people, because people want to be looked after by other people, right? They don't want to be looked after by a machine. Longer term, it will be about people, right? So healthcare, healthcare professionals, nursing, working, in hospitals, all that stuff, primary care, working in GP practices, um, working in pharmacy, healthcare is something to think about. Another sector I would say that is really important. I know we probably don't I would say talk about it enough in terms of how good it is as a sector. It's education, right? If you remember, I guarantee you, everybody who's listening to this call remembers their best teacher. Education and having good teachers is so important to society. And yes, um, AI is going to support education, but actually, you're always going to need a human person in the room to support, people in their education. So education is definitely something to look at, and is actually blowing up. I would say MySpace, people and culture, HR. you know, Human resources is a department where you go to people because you need people support. You need to understand how to be supported in your career, how to do your job well, what are your rights, and you tend to come to us in HR for support in your job in the corporate world. So I can see us using AI to gain more information and data, but it won't replace humans, because as it says on the team, human resources, right? So I would definitely think about a career there. I also think the other thing is there is a massive explosion in coaching, mental health and well-being, and social care, so social work. Um, so that would be the human sectors. I would also say vocational skills, right? So what I mean by this is electrician, plumbers, construction, automotive technicians, manufacturing, um, warehousing, all of that stuff that maybe young people kind of moved away from. I would say, as I was growing up, actually are moving more towards, because an AI person is not going to come and do your plumbing, are they? They're not going to come and do your construction. Um, those jobs are absolutely blowing up, and actually the average salary in those vocational career sectors are increasing because they want more skilled people in that space,
Mm.
and it's very AI proof. Um, I would also say there are some future impact sectors of things like sustainability, green energy. If you can get into that space, we're all moving to electric cars. We're looking to renewable energy. If you can get into that space, yes, AI will support it, but it's not going to. They need humans in that space. So those will probably be some of the sectors I would say that if you get into, it will have less impact from an AI perspective in the next 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, no, that's great. That was really, really useful. And what about creativity? Because obviously this is we're talking about creative,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and everyone
Uh,
says that creativity is can't be replaced by AI. But I guess there's certain things that AI is replacing in the creative world, but the skill creativity.
yeah, so the admin, the coordination, and the more kind of technical stuff, AI can replace in creativity. What it can't replace is it can't replace taste, it can't replace judgment, it can't replace interpretation, and it can't replace human insight. Yeah, I would say that AI can generate options for you, but humans choose the right option from a creativity perspective. So you can use it to generate options, but human beings are needed to kind of fine tune it, make sure they're choosing the right option for their client, their customers, whoever they're working for. Um, so I would say if you work in it, because I've got a creative background, I worked in media as well. What I saw people who were successful in this space was that they learned to use AI tools to kind of expand their creativity, not to kind of threaten it, to minimize it. And I would say the thing you want to focus on specifically is storytelling as well. A lot of people, I think, in the creative space focus too much on the functional aspect of creativity. They don't focus on bringing it to life and telling a story around it. And I think that's really important. So the people I saw who did really well in early careers that came into creativity were good at bringing it to life and communicating what their proposition was or what they've created and telling a story behind it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. I just want to make sure everyone can hear Danny okay. Just let us know if you can't, but maybe just move the mic a little bit away again.
Even
Oh,
more?
perfect.
Okay. People saying
No,
they can't
that
hear
no,
me.
I think it no, I don't know. No, no, I've had no comments yet, but
Okay,
yes,
thumbs
we can
up.
hear
Okay,
you.
okay,
There's thumbs up. Fine.
perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
No, because I just want to make sure this gold that you're telling everyone is yeah, lots of thumbs up. If anyone does have a question for Danny, do put it in the chat as well, because I'm sure again, Danny's very honest. So if you have any,
I've got something I do want to share is
yeah,
some of the common mistakes I think young people are making when going into the workplace.
love that.
When so I sit, like I said, I sit in HR. I sit, I've sat in, I've looked after the recruitment teams, and I am the person that me and my team are me and my team are the ones the CVs come into, and the ones we deal with the early careers people, and also we deal with the internal teams, and then match it up. So we see it from both sides. And I would say some of the common mistakes that young people are making. One of them is around, I think young people sometimes want to get promoted too quickly before actually mastering their area. So I think you need to focus on being a master of your role and the job you're doing right now. Master it, and promotion will come really quickly. What tends to happen is you go, oh, I can do the core stuff. I've been here, I've been doing it long enough. Promote me. Whereas if people focus more on mastering it and really nailing those skills, I think they'll be onto a winner.
Can
I
I
think the
just
other
add
thing,
into can I add into
yeah, go
that
on.
though? Because I
Please, of
think
course you can. Yeah, yeah,
with the mastering, I know I agree with that. And I think again, how you master is by
correct,
using AI and
correct. It can
using
help you to master it.
it can help you
100%,
to master it where I think
100%,
again the older generations couldn't.
100%.
An example is one of our team and Eric, he's called Josh. and he has a role that we've given him, and he has learnt and gone and used other tools to help make his work more efficient.
Right.
And so that's an example of him going
That's a
out,
perfect example.
mastering his role, coming back
Perfect
to the
example.
organization and saying, I can do
Perfect
it better.
example.
And now
Perfect
we've,
example.
promoted him.
Um, I also feel that sometimes being afraid to ask silly questions. I think I'm finding that younger people want to appear like they know it all, or they want to appear like they have more knowledge than they actually have. And actually being honest that you don't know something and asking questions is actually a great way to learn and to pick up skills and to find out more information. It doesn't make you look weak. It's actually a really important thing to do, to ask questions. I would say the biggest one, I would say, is a biggest mistake that is not building relationships early. I don't think I'm finding that young people don't necessarily understand the importance of a network and having and building relationships with people. I would tell you now that I would say for the last 10 years, the jobs I have gotten, I would say 80 to 90% of the jobs I've gotten is not because I applied for the job. It's because I knew somebody in the company, they recommended me, they reached out to me, and then I went into the interview process. So I was kind of a referral reference to somebody I already knew, and
How
that
do you
just made
do
me
that
stand
though?
out.
How do you do that if don't have any networks now? You're in you're regionally placed. I don't know. It seems impossible to
You
find it.
you you need to start with the people who are immediately around you and grow out. So with your teams you work with your managers that you work with, when you actually get into your jobs, you need to make sure you keep in touch with people, right? So any of the people you work with in your team that you form good relationships with, keep in touch with them. Add them on LinkedIn, add them on their social medias. Keep in touch with them. Yeah. Your any all of the managers who manage you, make sure you form a good relationship with them and you keep in touch with them. Yeah. Um, the other thing I would say is get yourself a mentor. A mentor is somebody who can help you learn by providing insight and experience of what they've already been through. You should have 2 or 3 mentors in your life, career mentors that can help you and guide you in your career pathway. Okay.
Mm.
And if you choose the right mentor, they will probably be very senior or doing well within their organization, and they can open up the doors for you with their network, or recommend you, or introduce you to people that they know. Um,
What if
so
you're not
yeah,
already in work? So say you're at school or
I give you
education.
so I give you so I give you an example. Here's a great way of so actually this is a really good example because it happened literally this week. Okay, I am somebody who's very passionate, as you know, about early careers. That's why I'm talking to you now, May. Right? I always, in all the organizations I've worked in, I've always offered work experience. So if somebody messages me and goes, Danny, I would like to come and do work experience in your office, I am 80 to 90% more likely to say yes if I'm free, I've got the time. Okay. Not everyone does that, just that in itself. So when people have come to work with me or come to do work experience, I always say to them, make sure you keep in touch. As soon as you finish your degree or your education, message me, see where I'm at, and I'll see if I can help you. Right? I would say maybe 10% do, a lot don't. Okay. Somebody who I had work experience with 2 years ago messaged me 3 weeks ago and says, I've finished my education. Can you look at my CV and help me, just kind of give me feedback on the current career market? I said, absolutely. We had a Teams call like this. I figured out actually what they're looking to do. We have within our organization. I sent their CV to the recruitment team because obviously I'm close to them. She's now got a job. I referred
Wow.
her. She's got a job, and she was struggling to get something. Yeah. So if she hadn't have reached out, she wouldn't be working now. So within the
Mm.
space of 2 weeks, referred her. Oh well, and internally, obviously, people were like, "Oh well, Danny, if you've referred her, she's got to be good. We'll see her straight away." And
Yeah.
100 people, over 150 people had applied for the role. So
Yeah.
she stood out. She got the job. She got interviewed. She smashed it. And I wasn't there in the interview, but she was, because I was able to put her in front of people. She then
Mm.
had the right opportunity, and she was able to get the job.
That is an incredible. I love that story so much. And I
But
think
but but
also,
but but, but the thing is, mate, is how many people wouldn't have messaged me
yeah,
or not reached out or added me on?
for
So I
sure.
said to her, create a LinkedIn page, create a LinkedIn profile, reach out to people, and keep in touch with me. She absolutely did.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite
Yeah,
simple. Yeah,
it's quite
exactly.
simple.
And I think it's not about, what background you're from or where you're
No,
from. Some of these things actually it doesn't matter. That what you're
no.
saying here is just a simple keep in touch, follow up, be
Yeah,
nice, whatever.
I would also say, if you are interacting with somebody who is older than you and has experience and is giving you advice, okay, a lot of the time they're giving you advice and saying it from a place of knowledge and experience. And I think there's a lot of take what they say and listen to them, especially if they say, reach out to me, I will help you. It's a tough market out there. We'll see what I can do, especially if you formed a relationship with them. You absolutely should. They should be the first person you reach out to instead of just kind of going online and applying for a job. Because it is right now in this current market, one of the biggest things is that internal referral. Somebody going, I know someone who I think would be good at this. Can you see them?
Mm.
That person gets prioritized usually over the person who's applied online.
And what advice or what would you say to people who are like, well, other people are more privileged, they have more confidence, or they have those networks to begin with in the first place, or their parents are, in certain circles. Like, is that something that actually is more of it doesn't matter because it's more of a mindset thing where you can still create
It's
your own
it's
opportunities?
it's a mindset thing. So I can't tell you how many times I've been into schools and spoken and chatted like I'm doing now, and I say reach out to me, keep in touch, and people don't. And I find, and I'm going to be really brutally honest here. I think what I tend to find are people who have parents who are very supportive, who have kind of instilled in them the importance of relationships and reaching out to people, tend to be the ones that do, versus people who maybe have had a more challenging background or upbringing, and their parents haven't given them that advice. They don't necessarily see the importance of it and think, I can do everything myself. I think sometimes some young people I interact with have a bit of a chip on their shoulder that they can do everything themselves. You can't. You cannot. You physically cannot. You need help, and getting help doesn't make you weak. Doesn't make you any less of a person. It just makes you clever, makes you smart. So this girl, who reached out to me and kept in touch, smartly did the right thing because I told her to. She now has a job now, and there'll be no looking back for her in a tough
Mm,
job market.
mm,
Yeah. And when she's thriving and doing well in her career, she will remember, oh yeah, my network helps me, so I'm gonna make the right moves. And I just think people need to really understand that.
yeah, no, I completely agree. I was,
Um,
it,
so go on.
no, I was just saying I was very shy, like hated meeting people, hated networking, hated events, all that kind of stuff. But you can push past those boundaries, and I'm
Well,
telling you that.
younger people feel, and people will laugh. Younger people feel confident to slide into people's DMs, right? You do the same thing here, right? If you've met somebody and they say keep in touch or reach out to me, you add them and you slide into their DMs and, oh, listen, I just met you. Thank you so much for the conversation that we had. It really was insightful. Do you mind if I keep in touch with you? Just so I can get more advice from you.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
People generally love to give advice and help people. So, and the other thing I suppose people like to see is that when people give you advice, you actually do something with it, and you actually do something. If you are somebody who does that, people are then more likely to give you more advice and more likely to help you.
yeah,
If that makes
no,
sense.
oh, unbelievable. Danny, we have given you more than the 20 minutes allocated because I've been enjoying this
Oh,
conversation.
sorry. I did
I feel
20
like
minutes. I
everyone's been
thought I had
enjoying
30.
this conversation. No, 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 no. We've got 1 minute until the next talk. Is there anything else that you want to, I don't know, your last your last piece of advice? But this has been
Yeah,
lovely.
I would say, there are three things I'd say that if you want to kind of get yourself ready for the job market that you can be doing alongside looking for a job. One is build your digital confidence. Become AI, become a guru at AI, using Sora, using ChatGPT, using Gamma, whatever the platform is. Learn how to use, I would say, 4 or 5 AI platforms to a really proficient level. Okay. I would then say volunteer. People don't do enough. Volunteer to do work experience, volunteer to go in. If you find somebody that go, can I come and work with you for a few weeks or a month? Let me. I don't mind not being paid. Go and understand how the world of work works. So do projects, do internships. Yeah. Even if you do it for a few weeks and you're not being paid, the knowledge and the insight you'll pick up will help you when you're in an interview, because you can use that to show that you know more and you stand out. Yeah. The last thing I would say is think about your personal brand. Your visibility online is key. Okay. If you don't feel comfortable to show certain aspects of your social media to people and it's open, then I would say relook at that. Yeah. Because 70 to 80% of employers will search for you before they approach you and reach out to you for a job. They will search
Mm.
for you online, and the brand and what they see of you will tell them all they need to know, or whether or not to contact you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, that's really good insight. People search and look at you before. Okay. Well,
100%.
thank you so much,
I do, because we
Danny.
do it.
Honestly, yeah. Thank you so much. Amazing session. Hope everyone could hear that, but we had a couple of thumbs up. So
Yeah.
thank you again. Bye,
Thanks,
Danny.
man. Bye.